Today I'm making the GutBuster, which is a meal so rich they say they can smell it coming from your pores. And if you're not familiar, this comes from the show Malcolm in the Middle, which was pretty popular in the early 2000s. The father in the show, Hal, describes it as a sausage stuffed with cheese, wrapped in bacon, and then put in a big fat deep fryer full of lard. It's indescribable. The show didn't give any information about the GutBuster, and we didn't get a good view either, so I figured it was something like a bratwurst or good old ground sausage. I'm using Italian sausage since it's going to be way easier to shape and comes with a ton of flavor built in. So smash out 1/3 pound until it's about 1/4 inch thick and a little bit wider than your bun. For the cheese, a low melting point cheese like pepper jack is a great choice. The plastic wrap is going to keep things from sticking to the board and makes it a lot easier to form the sausage. So pull the front and back over and then seal up the sides. Try to seal it as best as you can, or the cheese is going to melt out and you're going to be left with an empty, sad sausage, and nobody wants that. I don't know if you've ever watched Gordon Ramsay make a beef Wellington, but I'm using the same method to wrap up this sausage. You surround the sausage with some plastic wrap and loosely form it, then you give it a spin. This applies gentle pressure all around the sausage and helps get it sealed. Warm sausage is super hard to keep together, so I'm going to put these in the freezer for 10 minutes or so to firm up before the next step. With a name like GutBuster, I knew that there was no way that only one slice of bacon was gonna be enough. So I'm using 2 slightly overlapping slices of thick cut bacon for maximum coverage. You start with the bacon that's a little bit over the edge, and then you slowly wrap it up, making sure that it's completely covered. And you really only need to get mostly covered because that bacon is gonna shrink up when it cooks anyway. If you do it this way, you don't need toothpicks to hold it together if you put it in the freezer for another 5 minutes before you fry it. Something this greasy really needs to be cooked outside to avoid a huge mess and an unhappy missus, and you know that's not good. So I used a mix of bacon drippings and lard for my butcher for the frying oil, and I figured, hey, pan frying is gonna be close enough and doesn't require 5 pounds of lard. So the oil preheated to 350, gently toss the GutBuster in. My preferred method of monitoring that temperature is with an infrared thermometer. It makes it super easy. Now flip that sausage over every 2 or 3 minutes, or when it's a nice golden brown, just make sure that you get all 4 sides. I figured if this was going to kill me, it had better not be because of food poisoning. So even though it looks cooked to the center, it's still raw. After frying it a little bit more, I finished it off on the top rack of my gas grill to let it bake at about 300 degrees Fahrenheit. And it turned out even better than I could have imagined. You got a whole bunch of gooey cheese wrapped in bacon, it's really hard to go wrong. But with all that grease, a good spicy mustard provides a bit of acid and heat to cut through what ends up being about 1/2 pound of sausage and bacon. The fresh sauerkraut was a perfect addition to top off that sandwich and knocked it out of the park. So let's see if this is good enough that we try to hide it from our wife. So after one bite, I feel like I'm at the state fair, because this isn't something that I would eat every day. But when you have something wrapped in crispy, salty bacon and filled with cheese, it really comes out amazing. I strongly suggest that you add that mustard and the sauerkraut. It helps bring down some of the greasiness of it. It really balances the sandwich out. I'm gonna enjoy this one, so we'll catch you next time.